Dutchess County Court at law number 2 is in session with its announcement docket on today's date of September 15th, 2023. First case, actually the first two cases are cause numbers 23CCCR 0455 and cause number M330816. Both cases are solid state of Texas versus, well, Mr. Reynolds is not here. I see, Ms. Villa-Gomez, you have actually two attorneys that are representing you in both of your cases. Yeah, but you have a different attorney in each case.
That's supposed to be Mr. Reynolds. That's what we stated last time.
Okay, what we're gonna do is wait for Mr. Reynolds to arrive. Okay, so just have a seat. Mr. Conley, your full name is Trayvon Darrell Conley. How you doing, Mr. Conley? That's good. Now, Mr. Conley, the last time you were here, your case was reset to give you an opportunity to hire an attorney. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, sir.
And that was on July 18th of 2023. Have you hired your attorney?
I haven't, I've been having COVID. I just got over COVID
Okay,
Thursday, and just kind of getting back to work. I started back work. I'm supposed to go back today, but I started back
so how much time do you need?
in like 2 weeks. I haven't been going.
Okay, give me a standard reset.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Holmes.
What's the date? Okay, this case is gonna be reset to November 1st to give you an opportunity to hire an attorney.
Yes, sir.
All right, once you get your reset, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. Phil, is that your client on Zoom?
That's one of them, Judge. Yes.
Okay.
Miss Leslie.
Next two cases are cause numbers M332940 and cause number M332942. Both cases are styled the state of Texas versus David Fitzgerald Frank. Mr. Frank, would you please come forward? Say yeah, please. Mr. Frank, your full name is David Fitzgerald Frank? Now, Mr. Frank, you have a felony case, that's right? And it's scheduled on Monday? So, you're not represented by an attorney in these misdemeanor cases? Burbank is, okay, supposed to represent you? Okay, what we're gonna do is, we're gonna reset these two cases till Monday. Be set on the same day your felony case. And on that day, you need to, check in and then go there and then come back here. Okay? You can get your reset and we'll see you on Monday. And that's the 18th of September at 9 a.m. Next two cases are cause number 23CCCR 0488 and cause number 23CCCR 0489. Both cases are style of state of Texas versus Raymond Charles Garcia. Mr. Garcia, your full name is Raymond Charles Garcia?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Mr. Garcia? That's good. Now, Mr. Garcia, you appeared in court on July 18th of 2023. At that time, you signed a document that is titled Judge's Explanation of Rights of Defendants Without an Attorney. And in that document, you stated that you wanted your case reset so that you can hire your own attorney.
Yes, sir.
Have you hired your attorney?
Yes, sir.
Why haven't you hired your attorney?
I wanted to see how much the fine was and if I could versus how much they were trying to charge me to represent me on the case. I've been in my opinions to what to do.
Okay. So, when you appeared on July 18th, the court informed you that you had three options regarding your right to have an attorney. Number one, you can hire an attorney if you can afford to hire one. Number two, if you cannot afford to hire an attorney, you can see if you qualify for a court-appointed attorney. Or number three, you can waive your right or give up your right to have an attorney to represent you, and you can represent yourself. Also, you were informed that if you wanted to hire an attorney, your case will be reset, and your case was reset.
Yes, sir.
The court also informed you that if you could not afford to hire an attorney, then you can request that an attorney be appointed to represent you, and then you would have to fill out a financial questionnaire, and the proper person will determine whether or not to appoint an attorney to represent you. And then the third option, the court informed you that if you wanted to talk to the prosecutor or the assistant district attorney about your case, you could not speak to the prosecutor unless you first signed a waiver of your rights to have an attorney. And the court also informed you that you should be aware that there are dangers to self-representation. Waiving your right to an attorney and representing yourself could result in a worse outcome for you and including your case, including the loss of significant rights and opportunities relating to military service, possession of firearm, housing and public benefits, child custody, immigration status for non-citizens, and employment. The court also informed me that if you did decide to waive your right to an attorney, you can change your mind at any time and that you can request that an attorney be appointed to represent you. Okay, you remember that?
Yes, sir.
Now, based on what you just said, are you saying that you want to waive your right to an attorney and talk to the prosecutor, or I'm trying to figure out.
Yes, sir. Well, I want to see how much it's gonna be then versus paying that money to, or just paying whatever, what I'm charging with paying that off.
Okay, I mean, as I stated to you, if you want it, you cannot speak to the prosecutor unless you first waive your right to an attorney. Give it the right to attorney, and then you'll be representing yourself at that point.
That won't be able to go back. and
Yes,
once I
the
say-
last sentence said if you choose to change your mind, you can change your mind and request that an attorney be appointed to represent you.
Yes, sir, and that's what I would like to do.
Okay. So we need to give him a waiver and a judge's explanation of rights. Just have a seat and the bailiff will give you the forms that you need to sign.
Yes, sir.
Okay. This time. Mr. Reynolds. Do we have, do we need a clerk?
Well, at some point, I got the people.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right now?
Yeah, I think they're working on it now.
You haven't signed about.
Yeah. Okay. Mr. Reynolds.
I have an announcement.
Yeah, I know, Ms. Loza, we need to, Ms. Loza, you can, she came up earlier. Why don't you come back on up, Ms. Loza?
She's in the Zooms.
Oh, no, not Ms. Loza. Hold on. Villa Gomez, that's what I was thinking about. Ms. Villa Gomez. Okay, here we go. Actually, Ms. Villa Gomez, you have two cases. First case is cause number 23CCCR 0455, and you have cause number M330816. Now, Mr. Nathan Reynolds, attorney Nathan Reynolds, was appointed on cause number 23CCCR 0455. You are represented by Mr. James Paget in the next case, cause number M330816, and Mr. Paget has filed the motion to withdraw in that case. Do you have any opposition to Mr. Paget withdrawing as your attorney in cause number M330816?
No.
Okay, so what the court is going to do, the court is going to sign this motion to allow Mr. Paget to withdraw, and he'll be released from any future professional obligations and responsibilities and duties that he may have in your case. And so now, since I've signed this document, the court had previously appointed Mr. Nathan Reynolds in cause number 23CCCR 0455. Is that correct?
Yes.
And the court found that you was indigent at that time. And so the court is going to also appoint you on the second case.
Yes, sir.
And since the court has appointed you on the second case, we can reset this case, give you an opportunity to get the discovery of where and
Yes,
talk
sir.
to the prosecutors.
Yes, so that would be great if you're cool.
Okay. Okay, give us a reset date on both of these cases.
Something November
November what?
6th.
Okay. These cases will be reset to November 6, 2023. Ms. Vil Gomez, your attorney is going to give you your reset. Once you get your reset from your attorney, you'll be free to go. Stay in contact with your attorney, you bind them, and you have a blessed day. And Mr. Reynolds, I think this is the only two.
I have one more case.
You have another case?
Prosecutor.
Okay, I'll hold on it.
Thank
Okay, you can stand in front of our coordinator. Please.
I'm in your hands, so whatever you want to do.
Okay. Mr. Garcia, are you there? Who we have right? You ready on this? Orwin Dwight Purdy. Okay, court is in session and calls number M322016. Case is style of State of Texas versus Orwin Dwight Purdy. Mr. Purdy, is that your full name? How you doing, Mr. Purdy? I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking, Mr. Purdy. You're representing your case by your attorney John Macy. Attorney Macy, how are you doing?
I'm fine, Your Honor. Thank you.
You're welcome. And the state is represented in this case by Attorney Erica Porter. Ms. Porter, how are you
I'm
doing?
doing great, Your Honor.
Mr. Macy, what is your announcement in Mr. Purdy's case?
Your Honor, I believe this case will be resolved. I need 1 month reset so that he can pay some restitution, and then my understanding is the case will be dismissed.
Okay, so it's going to be dismissed for restitution. You need a 1 month reset?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, give us a reset date. We got it on reset it to November 6th. Give you opportunity to pay the restitution. Mr. Purdy, your attorney is going to give you your reset. Once you get your reset from your attorney, you'll be free to go. You have a blessed day. Mr. Macy, is this your only case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you're free to go as well in your blessed day. Mr. Garcia, would you please come back? This is cause number 23CCCR 0488 and cause number 23CCCR 0489. Both cases style of State of Texas versus Raymond Charles Garcia. Mr. Garcia, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Garcia, I have before me a document that is titled Judge's Explanation of Rights to Defendants Without Attorney. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, sir.
And are these your initials on the line that states you want to waive your right to an attorney
Yes, sir.
and represent yourself? I also have a document here that's titled Waiver of Counsel for purposes of entering a guilty plea or proceeding to trial. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Garcia, before you sign and initial these documents that I just showed you, did you read the documents?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand what you read?
Yes.
Is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Garcia, I read your answers. Just have a seat, and one of the prosecutors will come out and talk to you.
Yes, sir.
Next case is cause number M329024. Case is style of state of Texas versus Kevin Eugene Hunter.
The court states abandoning the enhancement allegation proceeding on DDFI first term.
Okay. This is cause number M329024. Case is style the state of Texas versus Kevin Eugene Hunter. Mr. Hunter, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hunter, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Hunter, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
I do, Your Honor.
You may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Hunter?
I'm very well. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Mr. Hunter, you're representing the case by your attorney Jim Shearer Bearden Jr. Attorney Bearden, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, Judge. Good to see you. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. Mr. Bearden, do you waive a record in Mr. Hunter's case?
We do indeed, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Hunter, I have before me, well, actually, the prosecutor, Attorney Colby Harper. Mr. Harper, how are you doing?
Good, thank you.
Now, Mr. Hunter, I have before me a document that is titled information. This information was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. In this information, it alleges that you, Kevin Eugene Hunter, on or about January 2nd of 2021, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated. Second, however, the state is abandoning the enhancement paragraph, which means that this case is being reduced from a Class A misdemeanor to a Class B misdemeanor. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir. I do, Your Honor.
Now, to the charge of Class B driving while intoxicated, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
Guilty. Now, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
I am.
And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes.
Okay, I need to write on his state of abandonments. Now, Mr. Hunter, I have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments. It's also labeled as State's Exhibit No. 1. You'll notice here, there's a sentence that I wrote here. I said that the state was abandoning the enhancement paragraph, and I placed my initials on this document. Now, do you recognize this document?
I do, Your Honor.
On page 2 of the same document, there's a set of initials on the line next to the box that says check guilty. Did you place your initials on this document?
I did, Your Honor.
On page 3 of the same document, there's a signature above the line that is titled defendant. Is this your signature?
It is, Your Honor.
And on the next document that's titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, do you recognize this document?
I do.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, sir.
At the top of this document, there's one box that's checked. The box says check states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that statement?
I do, Your Honor.
I also have before me a document that is titled Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document?
I do, Your Honor.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, sir, sure.
Now, Mr. Hunter, before you sign and initial these documents that I just showed you, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir, did.
And did you read and understand everything that he went over?
I did.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hunter, are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, sir.
State. I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, would you like to offer State's Exhibit number 1 as evidence?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections, Mr. Beard?
No, Your
No objections. State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Beard, you've advised and counseled Mr. Hunter. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
None at all, Your Honor.
Mr. Hunter, your attorney, Mr. Bearden, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
I am, Your Honor.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir, yes.
Mr. Hunter, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
In exchange for plea of guilty or no contest, states agreed to recommend 90 days probated for 2 years, $1,000 fine and court costs, 80 hours community-based service, and all other standard terms and conditions for DWI first. Not that we need to note it, but the defendant has 2 pending cases in Orange County in which I've spoken with that prosecutor and we'll run concurrent with this. We don't need to note it on our judgment.
Correct. What is this? Let me see, this court calls. Okay. Now, Mr. Hunter, the state is offering that you serve 90 days in the Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not serve any time in the Jefferson County Jail in this case because you'll be placed on probation for 2 years. During the 2-year probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $1,000 plus court costs of $407. You'll also be required to pay a probation fee of $60 each month, a urinalysis fee of $15 each month, a reimbursement fee of $15. You'll also be required to pay the initial DWI education class and evaluation fee of $125 on the day of the plea. Now, your total monthly installments, that is the total amount that you will be required to pay while you're on probation is $140 a month. Will you be able to pay the $140 each month?
I will, Your Honor.
You will also be required to perform 80 hours of community service. You'll be required to attend and complete a DWI education class, and you'll be required to have a drug and alcohol assessment. And you will also be required to adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of this DWI first probation. Mr. Hunter, do you understand the state's offer?
I do.
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
I do.
And do you accept the state's offer?
I do.
Okay, Mr. Hunter, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. I'm going to stand next to your attorney, follow the directions of the clerk. Once you finish following her directions, you'll be free to go, and you have a blessed day.
Use lawyer.
Okay. And Ms. Bearden, again, nice seeing you. Tell your dad I said hi.
Yes, sir.
Actually, you can walk.
You need to have a seat. Okay, just have a seat and she'll call you up. Kevin Robert Harrell. Or Harrell, Harold,
Yes. Judge, we can hold that.
you want me to hold? Okay, I'll hold. All right, just have a seat.
I'll see you.
Is Mr. LeBlanc?
Yes, Your Honor.
I was just informed that your client has COVID and they're going to fax it over to the court indicating that. And so once we get the information, this case is going to be reset.
Okay, Your Honor. Am I free to go?
Yes, you're free to go.
Thank you.
All right, you have a blessed day.
You too.
Okay. Jefferson County Court at law number 2 is back in session. Court is in session and cause number M333712. Case is filed in the state of Texas versus Margarita Loza. Ms. Loza is appearing via Zoom. Ms. Loza, you can take your mic off of mute. Ms. Loza, how are you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Ms. Loza, you're represented in your case by your attorney Tom Kelly. Attorney Kelly, how are you doing?
Good Friday to you, Judge. Doing well. Thank you.
That's good. I'm doing fine. Thank you. Now, the state is represented again in this case by Attorney Erica Porter. Attorney Porter, how are you doing?
Doing great now.
Now, Mr. Kelly, what is your announcement in Ms. Loza's case?
Judge, I think we've got the videos. I just need some time to get through them if the court would allow us
Okay,
30 or 45 days.
okay, you need to review the discovery. Okay.
That's great.
Okay, this case will be reset to November 6th, 2023. Ms. Loza, stay in contact with your attorney. Thanks for being patient with us. You're free to go, and you have a blessed day.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Same to you.
Next two cases are cause numbers M329724, cause number M332076. All two cases are styled the state of Texas versus Brett Tyler Mercantile. Mr. Mercantile, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Mr. Mercantile?
You good, are you?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Mr. Mercantile, you're representing your cases by your Attorney Tom Kelly. Attorney Kelly, what's your announcement in Mr. Mercantile's cases?
I believe the state's attorney is signing our plea document. Judge.
We are. I just.
Oh, so it's gonna be a plea?
Yes.
Yes,
both-
it is.
both cases.
Two cases are pleas, and then the original case that one was refiled from should be dismissed.
Oh, wait a minute. Yes, three cases. So he has three cases?
No, he is too.
Oh,
I guess you already dismissed one.
oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
You looking for clarity and straightforward, it's the wrong place.
Okay. Jefferson County Court Law number 2 is now in session. The court is in session in 3 cases. Clause numbers 23 CCCR 1870, clause number M329724, and clause number M332076. All 3 cases are styled the state of Texas versus Brett Tyler Mercantile. Mr. Mercantile, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mercantile, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Mercantile, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mercantile, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Mercantile?
I'm good.
That's good. Mr. Mercantile, you're represented in your case or in your cases by your attorney, Attorney Tom Kelly. Attorney Kelly, how are you doing?
Still good, Judge. Thank you.
Mr. Kelly, do you waive a record in Mr. Mercantile cases?
We waive a record and arraignment. We can proceed in summary, Judge, if that's okay with you.
Okay. Now, Mr. Mercantile, I have before me a document that is titled information. In this information, it alleges that you, Brett Tyler Mercantile, on or about, okay. Here. Okay. Now I was looking at this information says that this offense occurred on March 27th, 2021. In this case, it was a refile, but it was filed on September 11th, 2023, which is 2 years past the statute of limitations. Now, there's a case that's styled the state of Texas, well, it's styled ex parte Eric Howman. 456 Southwest Third, 159 out of the Code of Criminal Appeals. It says a defendant has a right to forfeit his limitation defense to the charge as part of the plea agreement. So we need to, I need to write now, is he forfeiting the limitations defense to the charge in this case?
We waive, Judge.
Okay, so we're gonna have to write that on the, I'm gonna write that on the plea papers.
That's fine.
Okay, so just, it's gonna take me a minute to do that. Okay, the court is back on the record and calling CCCR 1870, case of style state of Texas versus Brett Tyler Markentel. Now, Mr. Markentel, you previously was sworn in, and Mr. Markentel previously entered a plea of guilty to the charge of reckless driving. Is that correct? Now, Mr. Markentel, I also have before me a document that is titled State's Exhibit Number 1, which is the misdemeanor plea admonishments. Now, you notice I have the notations on this document. This is a Class B misdemeanor, reckless driving. The range of punishment is confinement that does not exceed 30 days and a fine that does not exceed $200. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The range of punishment. Now, on page 2 of this document, is this your signature on the line that's titled,
Well, initials.
where your initial where it says guilty?
Yes, sir.
Now, you'll notice at the top of this document, there's some writing, and I'll go over this, which it says, comes now defendant adjourned by counsel and states that I am aware that I have a statute of limitations defense, and I hereby forfeit my limitation defense as part of this plea bargain. And is that your, are you forfeiting your limitations defense as part of this plea bargain?
We're waiving that, Judge, yes.
Okay. Also, on page 3 of this document, there's a signature above the line that's titled defendant. Is this your signature?
Yes, sir.
And on the next document that's titled trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal, do you recognize this document? And is this your signature on the line that is titled defendant? At the top of this document, there are 2 boxes that's checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. You understand that? The second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes.
I also have before me a document that's titled discovery certification. You recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Markentel, before you signed and initial these documents, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Markentel, are you a citizen of the United States? State, I have before me State's Exhibit Number 1, which is the misdemeanor plea admonishment. State, would you like to offer State's Exhibit Number 1?
Yes, Judge.
No objection, states one.
No objection. State's Exhibit Number 1 will be admitted. And Mr. Kelly, you advised and counseled Mr. Markentel.
Yes,
Is
sir.
there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
Not at all. Judge.
Mr. Markentel, your attorney, Mr. Kelly, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Markentel, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, we do, Your Honor.
What is that agreement?
In exchange for the defendant's plea of guilty or no contest, the state is offered a 12-month deferred, $500 fine, 60 hours community service, interlock. And I'm just checking that because the fine can't go over 200.
Right.
Reckless, so I need to reduce that fine to $200 fine.
$200 fine. What's the length of probation?
It is for 12 months.
Let me give you the shit back. So that's 1 year deferred. 1 year deferred. $100 fine
Yeah.
plus court costs
Representative.
and community services 60 hours.
Okay.
Is 60 hours court cost? I mean, community
Same thing.
service?
Yes, 6 hours of community service.
Yeah,
Everything's fine,
okay,
just the fine. I didn't
okay. Okay,
catch that. Mhm.
I remember saying that was why I got nervous.
let me do this here. That's too old. What is this? Do you know what is court cost is in the
I'm working on the plea right now, though. You took a tablet and wrote something, can I see, does it need to go on?
Oh, what I wrote was, no, that was in the plea papers.
So you don't want it on? the-
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah. I think she just made that change. Oh, yeah. Here you go. Just make that change. in reference to the fine. The fine is gonna be $200. Right. Nah, yeah.
That's still on your picture.
Okay. What did you say?
1 year.
Yes, on 1 year deferred.
Is, work with the 500.
538?
Yes. Because it was just filed 5 days ago, so there's no fees except for what we're at today.
Wow, that's kind of high for a court cost, so 538. Okay. Okay, now, Mr. Mercantile, state is offering that you serve 1 year deferred adjudicated probation. During the 1 year deferred probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $200 plus court costs of $538. You'll also be required to pay a probation fee of $60 each month, a urinalysis fee of $15 each month, and a reimbursement fee of $15. Your total monthly installments, that is, the total amount that you will be required to pay each month, is $150 a month. Will you be able to pay the $150 each month?
Yes, sir.
You will also be required to perform 60 hours of community service, and you will be required to adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of your probation. Mr. Mercantile, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mercantile, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Mercantile, we'll move on to your next case. Your next case is cause number M332076. And in this case, Mr. Mercantile, I have before me a document that is titled information. And the information in this case alleges that you, Brett Tyler Mercantile, on or about November 12th of 2021, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of racing on a street. Mr. Mercantile, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to discharge, Mr. Mercantile, how do you plead guilty? Not guilty and no contest.
Guilty.
Now, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mercantile, I also have another document before me. This document is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments. And on this document that was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office, there's one box checked on page 1. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
On page 2 of the same document, there are a set of initials on a line next to boxes checked guilty. Place your initials on this document. On page 3 of the same document, there's a signature above the line that's titled defendant. Is this your signature?
Yes, sir.
And on the next document that's titled trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal, do you recognize this document? And is this your signature on the line that is titled defendant?
Yes, sir.
At the top of this document, there are 2 boxes that's checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that statement? Second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes, sir.
I also have before me a document that is titled discovery certification. Do you recognize this document?
Sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Mercantile, before you sign and initial these documents, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
I did.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me state's exhibit number 1. State, would you like to offer state's exhibit 1 in evidence?
Yes, Your Honor.
No objection, states one.
No objection. State's exhibit number 1 will be admitted. And Mr. Kelly, you advised in counsel, Mr. Mercantile, in this case
Yes.
as well. Is there any evidence that he's currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
None at all.
And Mr. Mercantile, your attorney, Mr. Kelly, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mercantile, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement in this case?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
The state offers in exchange for the defendant's plea of guilty or no contest, 12-month deferred, a $500 fine, and 60 hours community service.
Okay, now, Mr. Mercantile, the state is offering that you serve 1 year deferred adjudicated probation. During this 1 year probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $500 plus court costs of $342. You'll be required to pay a probation fee of $60 each month, a year analysis fee of $15 each month, and reimbursement fee of $15. Your total monthly installments is $160, but because you were on probation in the previous case, you will be only paying 1 probation fee instead of 2, and probably 1 reimbursement. So your total amount is probably going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $85 on this case. Would you be able to pay that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now also I failed to mention that you also be performing 60 hours of community service in this case as well. Do you understand that?
Yes,
And you'll be required to adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of your probation. Do you understand the state's offer?
yes,
You think the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Mercantile, I'll follow the bargaining agreements that you have entered into with the state. Now, Mr. Mercantile, on both of these cases, if you successfully complete the probationary period, your case will be dismissed. It will not appear on your record as a conviction. And you may qualify for non-disclosure. You can talk to your attorney, Mr. Kelly, about non-disclosures because he's quite confident in those matters. And it's my understanding that cause number M329724 will be dismissed. Is that correct?
Yes,
If it had not already been dismissed, because it's on the tablet. Okay,
that's my understanding.
okay. Okay, thank you. Now, Mr. Mercantile, you're gonna stand next to your attorney, follow the directions of the clerk. Once you finish following her directions, you're free to go, and you have a blessed day.
Thanks, Judge.
Okay, you're welcome, and you'll be free to go as well, Mr. Kelly. Well, we don't have to say that, they will run concurrent automatically. That's the law. And I'm signing the dismissal. On your third case, you'll be able to get that before you do it. Do you need him to have a seat too?
Yes, sir. Can you have?
You just have a seat, she'll call you back up. Is Jonathan Montoya present? Mr. Montoya? This is cause number 23.
Discovery out.
Oh. Oh, okay. They doing the paper.
We can go ahead and do it. I'm just.
I think she has to send it to me.
I'll send it.
Write it down.
Okay.
Do that. The felony number that's from the current, what is that?
On the jail stuff, he's going in right now. I put it by 6 p.m., but the date is fine. You can take the time off. He's going in.
That'll before 6 p.m. Yeah. Let's see.
I just sent you one.
Okay. How many of you? Oh, yes, two. This is 30. Yeah, I can start on this. Jefferson County Court Law number 2 is back in session. Court is in session. And cause numbers 2, 3 CCCR 1038, and cause number 23CCCR 1039. Both cases are styled the state of Texas versus Jonathan Keith Montoya. Mr. Montoya, is that your full name? Mr. Montoya, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Montoya, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you God? Mr. Montoya, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Montoya? You doing all right? That's good. Now, Mr. Montoya, look, you just relax. You have the attorney, Mr. Mel Shalanda here. He'll take care of everything for you.
I'm nervous too, Judge.
Oh. Prosecutor says he's not. Mr. Shalander, how are you doing?
I'm nervous, Judge.
Okay, you can relax. Just relax.
Okay.
And Mr. Shalander, do you waive a record in Mr. Montoya's case?
We do.
Mr. Montoya, I have before me in cause number 23CCCR 1038, I have before me a document that is titled information. This information alleges that on or about June 24th of 2023, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of assault causing bodily injury to family member. Mr. Montoya, do you understand what you've been charged with? And to this charge, Mr. Montoya, how do you plead guilty, not guilty, or no contest? Now, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Montoya, I also have before me a document that is titled misdemeanor plea admonishments. Do you recognize this document? On page 2 of the same document, there's a set of initials, JM, on a line next to a box that's checked guilty. Did you place your initials on this document? Certification of defendant's right of appeal. Do you recognize this document? And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant? At the top of this document, there is one box that's checked. This box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes, sir.
I also have before me on paper a document that is titled Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document? And Mr. Montoya, is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant? Now, Mr. Montoya, before you sign the initial, all of these documents that I have just showed you, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything that your attorney went over?
Yes.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge? Mr. Montoya, are you a citizen of the United States? State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1, the misdemeanor plea admonishment. State, would you like to offer State's Exhibit number 1
Yes, sir.
into evidence?
No objection.
No objection. State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted into evidence. And Mr. Shalanda, you've advised in counsel, Mr. Montoya, is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
And Mr. Montoya, your attorney, Mr. Shalanda, has advised in counsel to you. Are you satisfied with his representation? Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Montoya, I will accept your plea of guilty I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given, and I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
What is that agreement?
The state for plea of guilty or no contest, state's agree to recommend 270 days in Jefferson County Jail, and court calls the defendant is, it's gonna run concurrent with the felony case, which is noted on the document and the companion case, Your Honor. And he's going into custody. Felony F22 that was done and was CDC, correct? Okay, well, it'll run concurrent.
That's the cause number, F221, I can't really read that.
1403.
03, or what is that?
That's
Could you,
The number they gave me.
could you,
We wrote it.
The number they gave me.
F22, okay. Okay, so that's F22-41,
417.
yeah, 037, yeah. That's what it has at, yeah, at the top. F22-41037.
When I put
Out
it
of criminal district court. like
6
that.
PM on there, Judge, because I've got to go to felony court to do this.
Okay,
But
okay,
it's our understanding, it's starting today, it's all running concurrent. And the punishment is exactly the same as we're doing here. Judge.
okay. What's the court cost?
I haven't been able to look at it yet. I'm fixing Mark Campbell's school right now.
Cause I need to, cause I'm gonna have to ask him.
I apologize.
Let me see if he has a. See. Oh, yeah. So that's about 6 PM today. That'll be before 6 PM today.
I'm not doing that, Judge, because he's going to custody from felony court, so when I put.
Okay.
That's why I didn't put 6 PM.
Okay. So he'll go into okay, custody.
Okay, are we on 1038?
38, yeah.
$270 judge.
270. Okay, Mr. Montoya, the state is offering that you serve $270, 270 days in the Jefferson County Jail. And the court cost in this case is $270. Now, Mr. Montoya, will you be able to pay the $270 court costs? Okay, now, Mr. Montoya, do you? And this case will also run concurrent with the felony case cause number F22-41037. Mr. Montoya, do you understand the state's offer? Think the state's offer in your case is fair and just? And do you accept the state's offer? You do? Okay, Mr. Montoya, I'll follow the plea bargaining agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Montoya will proceed with your next case. Your next case is cause number 23 CCCR 1039. That case is styled the state of Texas versus Jonathan Keith Montoya. And in this case, the information sheet that was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office alleged that you, Jonathan Keith Montoya, on about July 1st of 2023, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed to Class A misdemeanor offensive assault, causing bodily injury to a family member. Mr. Montoya, do you understand what you have been charged with? And to this charge, how do you plead guilty? Not guilty, no contest. Now you're pleading guilty freely and voluntarily? And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty? Mr. Montoya, I also have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments. And this document is also labeled as State's Exhibit Number 1. Mr. Montoya, do you recognize this document? On page 2 of this same document, there are a set of initials on the line next to the box that says check guilty. Did you place your initials on this document? On page 3 of the same document, there's a signature above the line that is titled defendant. Is this your signature? And on the next document that's titled trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal, do you recognize this document? And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant? At the top of this document, there are 2 boxes that's checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargaining case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that statement? The second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that statement? Now, I also have a document on paper that is titled Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document? And is this your signature on the line? It's titled defendant. Now, Mr. Montoya, before you signed and initialed all of these documents that I just showed you, did your attorney, Mr. Shalander, go over these documents with you? And did you read and understand everything that he went over? And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge? State, I have before me State's Exhibit Number 1. State, would you like to offer State's 1 into evidence?
Yes, sir.
Any objections?
No objection.
No objection. State's Exhibit Number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Shalander, you've advised and counsel Mr. Montoya in this case as well. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
There you go.
And Mr. Montoya, your attorney, Mr. Shalander, has advised and counseled you in this case. Is there any evidence? Yeah, are you satisfied with his representation? Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation? Okay, Mr. Montoya, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you're mentally incompetent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea waivers were freely and voluntarily given. I also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Okay, now, State, do we have a plea bargaining agreement?
Do your
And what is that agreement?
same for plea of guilty, no contest, state to be recommended 270 days in the Jefferson County Jail and court call for someone concurrent with the previous case and the felony case. Number.
Okay. Let's see, I want to, the court cost is the same. Miss Elizabeth, will the court costs be the same in his second case? At 270?
Yes, sir, they should, but I can give you an accurate amount.
Hmm. This case running CC with that other case too.
Everything,
Okay,
both of them are running the same as the CDC code.
okay.
Same thing for- One, 103 now.
39, yes.
Paperwork, you're gonna work in the probation office at Phoenix, okay? You're good to go.
Okay, you have a blessed day, Mr. Markinchel.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, sir, 270.
Same thing, okay. Mr. Montoya, the state is offering that you serve 270 days in the Jefferson County Jail. You'll be given credit for any time that you are entitled to get by law. This case will run concurrent with cause number F22-41037. And the court cost in this case is $270. Would you be able to pay the $270 court cost?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, Mr. Montoya, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
You think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just? You accept the state's offer?
Yes.
Mr. Montoya, I'll follow the plea bargaining agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Montoya, would you please stand next to your attorney in front of the court? Oh, have a seat, just have a seat, and when she's ready for you, she's gonna ask you to come up. You're gonna have a seat in the jury box? Yeah. Next case is cause number M332687, case of style of state of Texas versus Cole Allen Cragen. Mr. Cragen, would you please come forward? Mr. Cragen, how are you doing?
Good.
Your full name is Cole Allen Cragen?
Lane.
Cole Elaine?
Lane. Yes, sir. Lane.
Oh, okay, they had Elaine, okay. Now, Mr. Cragen, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, and you?
I'm doing fine, thanks for asking. Mr. Cragen, you're representing your case by your attorney James, who is appearing via Zoom. Mr. Paget, how are you doing?
Doing good, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Paget, what is your announcement in Mr. Cragen's case?
Your Honor, if you could put us on a Friday about 30 days from now, I had every intention of being there this morning. I had a little issue that came up that I addressed, but we will take care of this case, and I'll contact Mr. Cragen.
Give us a date. Okay, this case is gonna be reset to October 27th. Mr. Cragen, you're gonna get your reset here. Court. Once you get your reset, State, you have to get your reset. Once you get your reset, you'll be free to go. You have a blessed day.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Next case is cause number M333402, State of Texas versus Jarvis Wayne Ordwine III. Mr. Ordwine, would you please come forward? Mr. Ordwine, how are you doing?
Good.
That's good. Mr. Ordwine, you're represented in your case by your attorney James Padgett. So, Mr. Padgett, what is your announcement in Mr. Ordwine's case?
Same announcement, Your Honor. If you could put us on the same day, we'll dispose of this case as well.
27, okay. Mr. Ordwine, your case will be reset to October 27, 2023. You can get your reset from our court coordinator. Once you get your reset, you'll be free to go, and you have a blessed day. Mr. Padgett, was that your last case?
Yes, Your Honor. Well, thanks.
Yeah, and just for the record, you had filed a motion to withdraw on Kayla Villa Gomez. She was here. I signed that motion. She was not opposed to the motion to withdraw. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor, and that's why I filed it. She was filling out some paperwork last time, so
Right.
you
right.
advised me to file it, so I just went ahead and did that.
So so her attorney, her court-appointed attorney was also appointed on that case as well.
Yes, Your
Okay.
Honor. Well, thank you.
All right. All right. You're welcome. You're free to go and you have a blessed day.
Have a good weekend, Your Honor. Thank
All
you.
right. Same to you. And we hope that you feel better.
I am feeling better, Your Honor. I apologize. That doesn't happen
Okay.
very often, but I took care of it. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. Oh. Having to come back. Having to Montoya. Yeah, she hadn't finished his paperwork. And plus I need to go over to some of these this admonishments. Having to come out, you come back on up. Mr. Montoya. Yeah, he has a just stand right there. You've just been handed a document that is titled Model Written Ammunition on Ineligibility to Possess a Firearm or Ammunition. In accordance with the Texas Administrative Code, Section 176.1, the court hereby admonishes you of the following. Number one, you are by entry of order or judgment ineligible under Texas law to possess a firearm or ammunition. Number two, beginning now, if you possess a firearm or ammunition, it could lead to charges against you. If you have questions about how long you will be ineligible to possess a firearm or ammunition, you should consult an attorney. Number three, under Texas Penal Code Section 46.013, firearms mean any device designed, made, or adapted to expel a projectile through a barrel by using the energy generated by an explosion or burning substance, or any device readily convertible to that use. B, firearm does not include a firearm that may have as an integral part a folding knife blade or other characteristics of weapons made illegal by Penal Code Chapter 46, that is, one, an antique or carry firearm manufactured before 1899, or two, a replica of an antique or carry firearm manufactured before 1899, but only if the replica does not use rimfire or centerfire ammunition. The statutes listed below are starting point for ineligibility to possess a firearm or ammunition. For more information about the laws that make you ineligible to possess a firearm or ammunition, or for more information on how long your ineligibility to possess a firearm or ammunition lasts, the court recommends you contact an attorney. Code of Criminal Procedure Article 17.292, Magistrate's Orders for Emergency Protection. Code of Criminal Procedure Article 42.0131, Notice for persons convicted of misdemeanors involving family violence. Penal Code Section 46.02, unlawful carrying weapons. Penal Code Section 46.04, unlawful possession of firearm. Penal Code Section 25.07, violation of certain court orders or conditions of bond in a family violence, child abuse and neglect, sexual assault or abuse, indecent assault, stalking, or trafficking case. Family Code Section 85.026, warning on protective order. Okay, so you can keep that written admonition for your records. Just have a seat in the jury box, and then when the clerk is ready for you, she's gonna have you to come up to her window. Okay. We have another one. If I can check, oh. Mr. Reynolds, are you still holding on yours or you? Oh, I don't have it. What's the person's name?
Harold.
Harold, okay, I don't have it yet.
But we call Mr. Garcia.
Okay, yes, hold on a minute. Here we go. Harold.
I just sent
Oh.
you Harold.
Hmm?
I just sent you Harold.
You did? Okay. Garcia. Mr. Garcia,
I've spoken with him, Judge. He just needs a reset to think about the deal we've offered.
okay,
Regular reset,
give him a regular reset, Mr. Garcia.
2 cases.
Okay, it's gonna be cause number 23 CCCR 0488 and cause number 23 CCCR 0489. Both cases reset to October 27th of 2023. Mr. Garcia, once you get your reset from our court coordinator, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. Here you go. There it goes here. Next case. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Let's see, this is cause number M334042. Case is styled the state of Texas versus Kevin Robert. Okay, Mr. Harold, let's see, you raise your right hand. Mr. Harold, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Harold, you may put your hand down now. Mr. Harold, how are you doing? I'm doing fine, thanks for asking. Mr. Harold, you represented in the case by your attorney, Nathan Reynolds. Attorney Reynolds, do you waive a record in Mr. Harold's case?
So wait, Judge.
Mr. Harold. I have before me a document that is titled information. This information was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. In this information, it alleges that you, Kevin Robert Harold, on or about May 24th of 2022, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated with an alcohol concentration level of 0.15 or more. Mr. Harold, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, Mr. Harold, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? Now, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Harold, I also have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishment, which is State's Exhibit Number 1. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 2 of this same document, there are a set of initials, KH, on the line next to the box that says check guilty. You place your initials on this document. On page 3 of this same document, there's a signature above the line that's titled defendant. Is this your signature?
Yes, sir.
And on the next document that's titled trial court certification, the defendant's right of appeal, do you recognize this document?
Sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
It is.
At the top of the same document, there are 2 boxes that's checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that statement? The second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes, sir.
I also have before me a document that is titled Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document?
I do.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
It is.
Mr. Harold, before you signed and initialed these documents, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
It is.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Harold, are you a citizen of the United States? State, I have before me State's Exhibit Number 1. State, would you like to offer State's Exhibit Number 1 into evidence?
Yes, Judge.
Any objections?
No objections, Your Honor.
No objections. State's Exhibit Number 1 will be admitted into evidence. Mr. Reynolds, you have advised and counseled Mr. Harold. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
None to my knowledge.
And Mr. Harold, your attorney, Mr. Reynolds, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes.
Mr. Harold, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
In exchange for the defendant's plea of guilty or no contest, the state is offered 90 days over 1-year probation, $750 fine, 60 hours community service, court costs, interlock, and DWI intervention program.
Okay.
He can be taken now, or did he say he had to go to court?
They're gonna take him, I guess, into custody down to court. Yeah,
Okay.
because I think they have to go to Judge Stevens Court. Let's see, 20. Mr. Harold, the state is offering that you serve 90 days in the Jefferson County Jail. However, you'll not be required to serve any time in the Jefferson County Jail because you'll be placed on probation for 1 year. During the 1 year probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $750. You'll be required to pay court costs of $407. You'll be required to pay a probation fee of $60 each month, your analysis fee of $15 each month, and a reimbursement fee of $15. You'll also be required to pay Jefferson County DWI education and initial evaluation fee of $125 on the day of the plea. Should a further evaluation be needed, you'll be required to pay an additional $50. Now, your total monthly installments, that is the total amount that you'll be required to pay each month while you're on probation, is $120 a month. Will you be able to pay the $120 a month?
Yes.
You'll also be required to perform 60 hours of community service. You'll be required to install an interlock device on any vehicle that you own or operate. You'll be required to attend a complete DWI intervention course. And you'll be required to adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of your probation. Now, Mr. Harold, do you understand the state's offer? Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes.
And do you accept the state's offer?
I do.
Mr. Harold, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Harold, you're gonna stand next to your attorney in front of our court clerk and follow her directions. Oh, just have a seat. And then when she's ready for you, she'll call you up.
Thanks.
Okay.
Just him. Okay. Yes, sir, I'll call on that one first, right?